You want to save? Snake, have you seen The Magnificent Seven?
Sorry.
It's a remake of the Japanese classic The Seven Samurai, only in a Western setting. This tiny Mexican village is attacked every year by bandits. Finally, the village elder can't stand it any longer and decides to hire someone to protect the village. 7 gunmen respond to the call. They teach the villagers how to shoot and prepare for the oncoming attack. But then, the enemy shows up at the village with a huge band.
Then what happens?
You'll just have to see it for yourself. I don't want to spoil it.
Oh.
Movies are only fun when you actually watch them. There's something you have to experience for yourself.
Sokolov is inside the lab. Look for a way in and use it to infiltrate the lab.
That area is home to a small bird called the red avadavat. The red avadavat is a small bird native to southern China and Southeast Asia. This is its mating season, so the males ought to be a brilliant red color right now. If you want to catch one alive, use the tranquilizer gun. By catching one and then releasing it, you might be able to distract the enemy's attention.
I see. How do they taste?
The what?
The flavor.
You're not going to eat such a cute little bird, are you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Something bothering you?
No.
Okay then, so how about it?
How should I know? That area is inhabited by the Taiwanese cobra. The Taiwanese cobra is native to Taiwan and southern China. It's quite vicious and carries a potent neurotoxin in its fangs. Be careful. If it bites you, go into the survival viewer immediately and use the cure option to inject yourself with serum.
Looks like you're using splitter face paint. Splitter is an indoor face paint. Painting your face with splitter should help you blend in better when you're infiltrating a building. Your field uniform is not just a set of threads to wear. To get the max effect out of your camouflage, you gotta correspond with your environment. So no matter where you are, make sure to choose a camo pattern that lets you blend in.
What a thrill, with darkness and silence through the night. What a thrill, I'm searching and I'll melt into you. What a fear in my heart, but you're so supreme. It's the way I
just my imagination.
It doesn't look like there's any way to open that door. Look for another way in.
You want to save? Hey, Snake, have you ever seen My Mother Was a Teenage Spider Queen from Mars?
I can't say that I have.
Neither have I.
I see you've made it inside the outer wall. Sokolov is inside the lab. Look for a way in and use it to infiltrate the lab.
When you're using the assault rifle, pressing the weapon button will hold it at waist level. That's nice if you need to drop nearby enemies with some speed, but it's difficult to aim straight. If you need to take more accurate shots, like tagging enemies in vital spots from a distance, use the aim button instead. Equip the weapon in first-person view and press the aim button to aim the gun from the shoulder. You can take precise aim with the front and rear sights. When you're focusing on your mark, it will be as accurate as if you were zooming in.
I see you're disguised as a scientist. It suits you rather nicely. As long as you don't do anything suspicious, like roll or crawl, the enemy should have no reason to suspect you. Sokolov is somewhere inside that lab. Find out where he is and make contact with him. If you want to know where Sokolov is, why don't you ask one of the people around there? Snake, your disguise seems to be working. But don't forget that you're trying to pass as a scientist. Don't do anything that a scientist wouldn't do, like roll or crawl, and certainly don't go around punching people. If an enemy starts to suspect something, don't run away. Stay where you are and remain still. That should get you out of most situations.
Snake, be careful when you approach the enemy. The closer you are to them, the more accurate their shots will be, and the more damage their weapons will do. That means you've got a greater chance of getting seriously wounded. Daring frontal assaults are not a good idea. But if you do get seriously injured, go into the survival viewer and treat it immediately.
So you're wearing the scientist uniform. Wearing that scientist outfit lets you pose as a scientist. But be forewarned, you can't equip most of your weapons while you're disguised as a scientist. Even when you're disguised, your cover will be blown if you get blood on your clothes or something. If you do get blood on your clothes, take them off and switch to another outfit. The bloodstain should come out after a little while. Splitter was used quite a bit in World War II on German aircraft and stuff. The pattern helped mask the plane's attitude and direction in dogfights. Even now, it's still being used as camouflage in some places. It works best when you wear it against a steel or stone background.
Snake, be careful of those scientists as well. If they get a good look at your face, they'll know that you're not one of the scientists assigned to the lab. Take care to keep your face hidden from the scientists. Even if they figure out who you are, the scientists won't attack you, but you'll be in for it if they cry out or press one of the alarm switches on the walls. If a scientist starts to suspect something, turn your face away until the suspicion passes.
Huh?
If you get a chance, try interrogating a scientist. He might have some valuable information for you. Remove your disguise temporarily and use CQC to grab a scientist. Then press the left stick. Be careful, though. If you get blood on your clothes, the enemy will see through your disguise. If you do get blood on your clothes, go into the survival viewer and change into a different outfit. After a while, the blood should come out on its own.
Keep in mind that every weapon and piece of equipment... Snow, as you might have guessed, is a winter camouflage developed to provide cover in a snowy environment. It's not solid white, though. It's got a little bit of vegetation pattern mixed in, too. It should work pretty well if you wear it against a white background.
Snake, do you know what epinephrine is?
What's with the questions?
Well, do you?
No,
Also known as adrenaline?
never heard of it.
Really?
Nope.
I have.
Good for you.
Do you want to hear about it?
Not really.
Oh, I think you should hear about it.
Here we go.
So, epinephrine is a type of hormone. It's secreted from the adrenal glands in high-stress situations, like when you're exercising or you're under pressure. The epinephrine is released into the bloodstream and stimulates special receptor cells on various organs throughout the body. This causes the heart to beat faster, the blood vessels to constrict, and the respiratory passages to expand. It also raises blood pressure. You ever notice how you're faster and stronger than normal when you're under stress? That's because of epinephrine, and when you're bleeding, it...
Paramedic.
Yeah,
Is there a point to all of this?
of course. In the alert phase, your body secretes epinephrine, and so your stamina won't be depleted as fast.
Uh-huh.
There. Good thing I told you, huh?
As always.
As long as you're disguised as a scientist, you won't be able to equip guns and knives. On the other hand, you might be able to equip items that don't look like weapons at first glance. Snake, enemy soldiers who operate indoors aren't equipped with radios. To communicate with command, they'll have to use the radio-equipped alarm systems located on the walls. If you're spotted by an enemy, you can avoid going into alert phase by taking him out before he can use the alarm system.
The woodland paint is most effective in forest environments. It'll work best if you use it when infiltrating forest areas. Squares is a mountain camo that's basically a bunch of square patterns. It might look conspicuous at first glance, but it actually blurs the contours of the person wearing it and makes them more difficult to pick out. It should give you a low profile against reddish backgrounds like bricks and rusty metal. Whenever you find a new weapon or piece of equipment, the first thing you do is drop it in your backpack, right? But you can't use your new goodies if they're just sitting in your backpack. To use a weapon or piece of equipment, first you have to take it out of your backpack and place it on your person. To take an item out of your backpack, use the backpack option in the survival viewer.
If you're looking for Sokolov, he's not here anymore. Put that thing away. You'll spoil my drink. So, you're the intruder everyone's talking about. Typical capitalist dog. No manners.
And who are you?
You mean you've never heard of me? And you call yourself an agent? Very well, then. I am Alexsandr Leonovitch Granin. A man of some importance, if I do say so myself. I am the foremost weapons scientist in the Soviet Union, and the head of the glorious Granin Design Bureau. This is the Order of Lenin. It is an honor of the greatest magnitude, given along with the title of Hero of Socialism to only the finest workers. It was awarded to me in recognition of my brilliant contributions to society. Since the Great Patriotic War, I have created countless weapons in the service of our great communist society. It was thanks to me that we were able to stamp out the Nazi scum. It was I who created the basic design for the mobile ballistic missile system you know and fear as SS-1C.
You're crocked, aren't you?
I'm merely drowning my sorrow. Because of him, I've got nothing to do but sit here and drink this crap.
Him?
Sokolov. It's him you're looking for, isn't it? Because of him, I have been stripped of my authority. My research has come to nothing. Look. It is a revolutionary mobile nuclear missile system. A bipedal tank.
A bipedal tank?
Yes, a walking tank. A robot. Are you familiar with the theory of the missing link between apes and humans? Well, this technology will be the missing link between infantry and artillery. A kind of Metal Gear, if you will. And this magnificent Metal Gear will mark a revolutionary step forward in weapons development.
Metal Gear?
But I won't be used so easily. No crying myself to sleep. For you see, I'm going to send these documents to my friend in the United States.
What?
These bastards will live to regret this. And when they themselves become the targets of my creation, they will know my true greatness. Yes, Sokolov's pathetic shagohod pales in comparison to my work. What are you going to do with a rocket engine on a tank?
About Sokolov.
A tank does not need a rocket. It needs something else. Look at these.
Nice shoes.
No. Legs. Legs that allow it to go anywhere. Just as when humans learn to walk upright. That is the real revolution in weaponry. Don't you agree? But the fool's in charge. Joe Sokolov.
And where is Sokolov?
My project has been terminated. The Philosopher's Legacy has been handed over to him.
What the hell are you talking about?
The Philosopher's Legacy. Haven't you heard of the Philosophers? The Colonel has inherited their immense legacy. Volgin's father was in charge of the Philosophers' money laundering activities. In the confusion of the war, they somehow ended up with their treasure. And Volgin inherited that treasure illegally. We never need to worry about the military budget. The development costs at our facility are all paid out of the Colonel's deep pockets. The weapons born here will be the genes for creating an entirely new form of warfare. The funding for my research came out of that legacy. Came out of it. Now, my money, my men, all have been diverted to the Shagohod project. Tomorrow, they will be conducting the final test, while Sokolov is making the final preparations in the weapons factory at Volgin's main base, the great fortress of Graniny Grad. Here I am, playing host to an enemy spy and drinking myself into a stupor.
That's where they moved Sokolov?
Yes.
And the Shagohod is there, too?
Of course. Hey! You're not thinking of going to Graniny Grad. Are you mad? It's an impenetrable fortress.
I'm sure it is.
You'll be killed.
I'll take my chances.
Wait.
What?
Listen to me, you fool. I want to help you.
Help me?
To thank you for your compliment.
What compliment?
My shoes. Tatiana gave them to me. I wanted to thank you for complimenting me on them. I'll tell you how to get into the fortress. In return, I ask only that you get that idiot out of there and destroy the Shagohod. There is an underground tunnel that runs around the perimeter of the fortress. You should be able to use it to sneak into the base. Head for the mountains. The entrance to the tunnel is located there. Take this. You passed through a warehouse on your way here, didn't you?
Yeah.
There should have been a locked door inside of it. Do you remember it? This key will open that door. Beyond that door lies a vast jungle. You can climb up into the mountains from the far end of the jungle. Go back to the warehouse. Use the key to open the locked door and head for the mountains. Got it?
Why are you helping me?
Unlike Sokolov, the thought of defecting has never once crossed my mind. I love my country. I love this land. I cannot even imagine living anywhere else. I wish to remain a hero of the great motherland. I cannot bear the thought of being hounded into a corner and left to waste away. It is already dawn. You must hurry. I will remain here and nurse my troubles for a little longer. To capitalism! I have nothing more to say to you. Get out of here.
Major, Sokolov's already been moved to the fortress.
But that's only what Granin told you, right? He may have been giving you false info.
No, he wasn't lying.
How can you be so sure?
Gut feeling.
Good enough for me. According to Granin, you should be able to get to the mountains through a passage located deep in the jungle beyond the warehouse.
Right. Then if I climb the mountains, there'll be an underground tunnel leading to Groznygrad near the summit.
Start out by going back to the warehouse. Use the key you got from Granin to open the door and proceed into the jungle. You remember where the door is, don't you? It's directly north of the door you went in when you came from the aqueduct. According to Granin, you should be able to get to the mountains through a passage located deep in the jungle beyond the warehouse. Start out by going back to the warehouse. Use the key you got from Granin to open the door and proceed into the jungle. You remember where the door is, don't you? It's directly north of the door you went in when you came from the aqueduct.
Sigint, Granin said something about putting legs on a tank. Do you know what he was talking about?
If you ask me, it's gotta be a joke. Not only is making a tank walk on two legs a technical nightmare, but there's no point in making a walking tank to begin with. Putting legs on a tank would raise its clearance, increasing its frontal projection area. It'd also be less stable. Suppose the legs help the tank travel on bad roads. I don't see the logic in that. Isn't that what treads are for? I mean, anybody who'd seriously consider making a thing like that has got to be a wacko. Come to think of it, there was a guy in the States who wrote a paper on that subject. What was his name? Emerson? Heinrich? Something like that. I don't really remember. Of course, no one took that seriously.
Sigint, Granin was saying that Sokolov's research project was a tank fitted with rockets.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any idea what he meant?
Sorry, beats me. I wonder if it's supposed to increase the tank's mobility. Or maybe give the tank short-range missile launching capability. But you're sure it has something to do with Phase 2 of the Shagohod, right?
Yeah.
Khrushchev traded Cuba just to get this thing finished. And Volgin blew up a Soviet research facility to get his hands on it. Whatever it is, it's gotta be big.